I'd like to welcome everybody to Oxford. It's such a pleasure having our guest here with us, our chief guest, Mr. Sivanandan. A round of applause for him, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Sivanandan, for being here. As you all know, Mr. Sivanandan is the former Maharashtra Director General of Police. Currently, he's a member of the Special Task Force in the National Security Council Secretariat in the Prime Minister's office. Thank you so much, Mr. Sivanandan, for being here with us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, about our best-selling author. He's all smiles right there because he knows how well the books have been received. An encouraging round of applause, everybody, for Dr. PILLAI. He is a well-known management speaker, trainer, author, and consultant. His first book, Corporate CHANAKYA, has been on the bestseller list since its launch in the year 2010 and used as a textbook, literally a textbook, in various business schools in India as well as abroad. The book also has a unique distinction of being made into an audiobook, which is what we're doing right now, and is segmented into 3 parts: leadership, management, and training. It might also interest you to know that this audio rendition is done by Mr. Tom Alter, a very well-known actor and theatre personality. A film is also being made imparting this training on Chanakya and has also been translated into 10 regional languages. So you actually see the reach of this book across different segments of people. Mr. Radhakrishnan Pillai is also a visiting faculty in many prestigious institutions in India and abroad, including the IIT, IIM, Indian Institute of Science, among others. And he's also been a trainer and strategy consultant to over 200 organizations. Wishing him all the best for all the endeavors in his life, and I'm sure he has a lot to say to you all. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. And I'm just going to say a small, short thank you. Even though I'm from JECO, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this publishing house. JECO Publishing House, one of India's premier book publishing companies. It has published an incredible array of titles and authors over the past 6 decades. Some of the world-transforming authors that JECO has published has been Sri Sri Paramahansa Yogananda, Osho, the Dalai Lama, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Robin Sharma, Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, Khushwant Singh, Stephen Hawking, and many others. JECO has its reach in almost 10 cities across India. It has published over 2,000 titles in a wide range of segments. And do note that we have JECO's chief editor, Mr. R.H. Sharma, present among us. He's here along with publisher Akash Shah. And if there are any budding writers in our midst, please don't forget, please feel free, in fact, to meet them after the event is over. So once again, a round of applause, everybody, to JECO Publishing House. Thank you for giving the book such a wonderful platform. I now request the chief guest and the author to speak, but before that, also Mr. R.H. Sharma will be coming on the dais to release the book. So before that happens, can we have Mr. R.H. Sharma here, please, to open the packaging, to unwrap the copy of the books here. Chief Editor, JECO Publishing House, Mr. R.H. Sharma, everybody. Along with the author of the book himself, we have Mr. D. Sivanandan, our chief guest. We have Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai, the author. And it's our immense pleasure to have this book out amongst all of you here today at Oxford Bookstore. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma, and congratulations once again, Dr. Radhakrishnan. I would now like Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai to speak about this amazing journey from the creation of Corporate CHANAKYA on management and Corporate CHANAKYA on leadership. Could just spare us a few words, sir.
So first of all, let me start by thanking Sivanandan sir for agreeing, because my first meeting with Sivanandan sir that happened almost 2.5 years ago was on the same platform. I remember it was Wellingker's Management Institution, where both of us were called on the same dais. And that time he was the Director General of Maharashtra Police, and we exchanged numbers. And immediately next day, went with all my students to his office. And we were given half an hour, which landed up to 2.5 hours. And in a DGP's office, that's the first time I realized that, yes, he's a great cop, but he's a great professor also. And it just got connected. I'm not going to speak about Sir immediately because that's my topic later on. Let me speak about the book first, for which we are all of us are here. That Sharmaji, all the people in India, the next dream apart from making money is to become authors, right? So I can find suddenly a lot of my friends saying that, "Acha, kaise book likha hai? How did you become successful? Can you give us tips?" And the first person directed that, yes, write a book, and there is Mr. Sharma. So anybody who has come here to make the dream of an author for himself or herself come true is the man. And let me tell you, interestingly, the way we want to write books, there are also publishers who want good writers. So it happened again on a public platform. I remember it was Taj. Just after 26/11, all activities had started. And that time, the Indian Merchant Chambers, JECO and the whole Rotary Club over there had decided to bring out Kautilya's Arthashastra, a new version of the Chanakya work. And I remember the president at that particular time, Mr. Mani, called me up and said, we have compiled a book called Kautilya's Arthashastra. Interestingly, it is not written by one person. There are 20 chapters by 20 economists. But we can't make 20 people speak in a 1-hour program, so we decided that one person should speak who has studied the Arthashastra, that is Radhakrishnan Pillai. So they called me, and I remember it was a very packed crowd on a working day, and everybody comes there because they got free lunches, Taj lunch. So everybody had gathered, and immediately 2-hour program, and I come here, speak for 20 minutes, and 600 copies, booked by somebody. And Sharmaji squeezes in with Ashwin Bhai, who is the chairman of JECO, and Akash is there and saying, "You speak well, do you also write?" I also write. And that's where I say my journey of an author began with Sharmaji and the JECO team over there. Since then, the difficult part starts, writing. And it's not easy, I know, because as professors, as people who guide PhD students, I can tell you, the most difficult task is to write. Because in writing, you crystallize your thoughts. You make it really concrete and give it a shape. And it takes a lot of effort. And in India, typically, we are only used to write examination papers, right? That's the training that we have got, right? A for apple, and after that, I think our generation has almost forgotten how to write poetries and creativity. So when it was there, thanks to Mala, there she is, my student come assistant. All the things that we had written, compiled, give it a new dimension, took around a year, and it's very frustrating, let me tell you, till the book comes out. It goes through 3-4 stages of editing. Believe me, it's so difficult. And then you're waiting, we just sent your manuscript with corrections, and within 2 days, Sharmaji bounces back to you and saying that all correction. Then you again do the correction and it goes on and on. But finally, it was a very interesting journey that on 15th of August 2010, in the Mumbai University, in presence of a huge crowd, I remember it was a Sunday, and we did not estimate that people will ever turn up on a public holiday. 300 plus people, we had chairmen, directors of various companies. They came in such huge numbers that people literally at the end of the, by the time settled down, people had to sit down. And that time, Ranjit, where is he? Yeah, that's my friend at Mumbai University, and all the team, it became a super success as a launch. So the major launch, with the Vice Chancellor being there, and Dr. Ajit Rana is the Chief Economist of Aditya Birla Group. A lot of people were there. But we never knew that moment we are actually creating history. Why I'll tell you? Because the moment you release the book, with all the passion, because everything is about marketing, right? So the best of marketing, get the right people, etc. But you never know how the book will do till it hit the market. And I can very proudly tell you that Chanakya has caught on an Indian imagination. And you'll be surprised to know that bookshops like this and Crossroads and various other bookshops that I go across India, it's been on the bestseller list continuously almost for 2 years now. So sometimes I look at it critically and saying that why did it click? I can tell you some facts. Not because Radhakrishnan has written well. It's not the first book anybody has written on Chanakya. I mean, it's been a part of Indian thinking and culture. But what interestingly happened is that I tried to say that, okay, can it appeal to the masses in a way which is not jargon based, It's simple management which probably even a housewife can use it, and maybe an assistant manager or an MBA student can use it. If you look at the book that we have, it's got simple chapters, hardly 1.5 pages to read. You just clicked on, and let me also tell you one of the reason. Before I wrote a book, and all those people are interested in writing a book, let me tell you, there are 3 things that make a book successful. Only 3 things. One is the content, then is the design, the cover, and of course the pricing. And Jacob got all the 3 right. And there is Akash. If you look at the book and its cover, it's so eye-catching. You know, they call it Takla. And it's given a very good format. The thought that has gone to it, the name, of course, is also equally important. So it went off. We did not know that it is going to be accepted so well. We continuously started doing so many promotions, etc., etc. But I realized the journey has only started. I went across 14 different places doing this book launches in different parts of India, remote places like Hubli and Sirsi in Karnataka, to of course all the metros, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bangalore, Chennai, everywhere else, Delhi, everything was covered. Then finally we said, let's sit down. No. Then Sharmaji calls up and says, there's another opportunity, can you do one more book event here? Come on, let's do it. And then the numbers that we hit with this particular book was amazing. For a management book reaching close to 1 lakh of a copy, it's really a great book. Because it's not a fiction book, it's not a story book. It's something which is ancient yet modern. So that's how the book journey happened, but there are 2-3 things that happened more. And what are the 2-3 things? Another team came up with an idea, that the Shemaru team, saying that can we have an audio book? Because in India, we don't read much, we watch a lot. And now the new culture is of listening a lot. So we like, if you were to give a book like Godfather, people would not read Godfather, they will have watched the movie again and again. In our case, it's watching as a culture, at the same time, listening as a culture because of the radio that's come up. So, Shemaru team, I would like to thank Madhuri who came up with that idea, saying that can we bring out an audiobook out of it? Well, why not? It very hard work, and we got Tom Alter on board, and we brought out an audiobook into 3 parts, Corporate Chanakya, on management, leadership and training. And believe me, you should listen to that, because Tom Alter's commitment to the project, I could never see as an author myself. He was there professionally, 3 days recording in the studio, and the voice has given so much. I know so many people who are not read the book and said, this is the audiobook that is really worth it. But then, ideas keep coming up, and then they say, why can't we do it in a nice way where there's an audio and the book? So finally we came out with these 2 products called Corporate Chanakya, Leadership and Management. Now the interesting part is that you got the book and the audio CD inside it itself. So you have the 2 products in this one particular book itself. And Jaco has mastered the art of pricing it right. Again and again I like to say that. So what happens is that I say, even in a preface in this particular book, read and then listen, listen and then read. So you got both the things. Don't just read it when you're in the car or sitting at home, and you just put it and then listen and read. Because even in Indian culture, the study has got a very different connotation. If you look at scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and other, how do you master any particular subject? And they say there is a word called as abhyas. Now abhyas is not just study, and abhyas actually comes from a word called as repetition. How does the child learn the language? Repetition, 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 repetition. So why not listen, read, listen, read it, listen it. So I'm thankful that again Akash and his whole team of Jacobs mastered it by bringing out another wonderful color page, right? So the bright blue color and red colors is able to attract, but the content is equally simple and good. So that's what, and of course, immediately we are also working out on maybe getting the 3rd part out with an audiobook, which is Corporate Chanakya on training. So what we're going to do now today as a format, sir is the chief guest, and he is the person I want to listen to also as equally as you. But before I hand over to him, the 3rd thing which has come up is that we are also got a film on this particular book. The film is inspired by the book, again by Shemaru, and this film is about how an individual, a corporate executive comes, reads the book, gets inspired by the book, comes to me. I'm also playing a character in the particular film, and there is a particular sutra in the Artha Shastra called Chanakya's 7 pillars. So the Swami Amate Janapada Durga Kosha Dandamitra. So what happens is that this is a chapter in the book. You can see it in leadership. It's called the 7 pillars of business. So we said, okay, let's pick up one idea, because remember, this is not a fiction book that you can convert easily into a film. It's a management film, it's a management book. Then we decided, okay, let's do something different. So there's a storyline into it. And the young boy comes to me and I said, apart from reading, listening, go and meet real life leaders. So he meets 7 real life leaders, which includes Narayan Murthy, we got Dr. Santrup Mishra, we got Aditya Birla Group, then we got Vinita Bali of Britannia, then we got Ramdev Agarwal of Motilal Oswal, then we have Subrata Bagchi, and most important, we have Sir in that film. So Sir talks about leadership, which I've already spoken about in this particular book in detail. So that film is ready for release, very soon you will have it. So for me, believe me, I am jealous of myself. How can somebody be so super successful with the first book in so many formats? As you are rightly saying, one book, 11 languages. English plus 10 regional languages, which includes Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Assami, Oriya, Bengali, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati. All around. Got it. Less than 2 years, film, audiobook. So what I'm saying is that I'm equally excited, and the journey is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is not about writing a book. Please understand, the mission that I'm into promoting Chanakya, a lot of friends of mine are a part of the journey, be it Bhuvnesh doing it in some way, or be it Sanjeev doing it in some particular way. I think don't look this as a product of a person or a particular company. I think it's a product which India should be proud about. Because somewhere when I travel across the globe, this book has taken me to 10 countries, and next month I'm going to go to Oxford, where I'm addressing London Business School. In fact, I've been also invited to attend the opening ceremony of the London Olympics. And I'm saying, okay, so what's so great about this? And then I realized probably this is one answer, that we also are proud of our culture, yet we are modern. So in India there is a dichotomy that we always say, we are ancient yet modern. And why we are modern? Because we connect with the ancient, and yet we don't try to depend only on the past. So what I've tried in my book is try to simplify and bring down some of the great principles of Chanakya in a way that probably each one of us can connect to. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here, making it happen. And I have a friend who said, I've just written a book, so can you help me with tips? So of course I'll give you hundreds of tips, because one thing about reading as a culture is that you require both readers as well as writers, right? It can't be one-sided. So I've created a book, why don't you write a book? But before you write a book, read a book. So reading and writing is interconnected, listening is interconnected, film, and I don't know how many different ways, maybe different format. So I like to wind up by saying, it's been an interesting journey. So as we wind up, maybe after Sir's talk and some Q&A and open discussion, probably you can have certain ideas, because many of you that I know, most of you are new faces. You may come and say, okay, can we do something together? Of course, why not? This corporate Chanakya, for me, has been life-turning. Thanks to my wife, who is here. She managed to take all the efforts when I was traveling everywhere, and it's not very easy, because 20 days in a month I'm away. And I also like to end up by saying that there is one thing connected to the book and my life very, very personally. In 2010, I achieved 3 things. Number 1, I wrote a book which became super successful. Number 2, I became a part of Mumbai University. And most important, I became a father. And the name of my daughter is Anvi Chiki, which is also part of the corporate Chanakya book. There's a chapter called as Intelligence Management. So, thank you all. Thank you my family, thank you my friends, thank you sir, thank you Jeko, Shemaru, and everybody over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Radhakrishnanji. Well, the kind of delight with which Sir speaks, I think it just lightens up the entire room, and I think that so much of that reflects in the tone of his book, and I'm sure that will also reflect in the audio. So all the very best to you, and moving on now, Dr. Sananda, you've contributed to the book in a way. How does it feel being here, and tell us about your association with Mr. Pillai.
Good evening everyone. Dr. Radhakrishna, Chanakya Pillai, and Mr. Sharma and all the others of the JCO publication and all the avid book readers who have assembled here. It's absolutely a precious evening because it's a working day and it might rain any time and delay your arrival at home. And in spite of that, you have come here in such a large number, there's no place to sit here. It's a really hard thing. So I must say, after hearing Radha. I would not call him Dr. Radha Krishna Chanakya Pillai, it takes time, so I would call him Radha. And so after hearing him, I feel like a dumb ex-policeman. I thought I would say so much about this and that and all that, but I now feel like a dumb ex-policeman. So I wouldn't speak much about it because he has spoken so much about the process, the way the book was given birth to, and the way the book has become a raging success in 11 languages and a lack of copies. Even if 1,000 copies are sold, it's considered to be a very huge success. I know a lot of people who go to Amazon and then publish 2 copies. They print 2 copies and give it to them. They call themselves authors. Yes, rightfully they are also authors, but they put it on the web, and anyone who wants to read can read free. But 2 copies are there in the author's table so that he can call himself an author. So that is one line. Whereas here is one who is sitting next to me who has sold a lakh of copies, 100,000 copies in 11 languages. It's stupendous. It is too much. And the man who is sitting by his side, who is the chief guest, can't even write 2 lines because I worked in the police. I forgot, the drill and the parade and the practice and various other things. Definitely brought my brains down to a low level, almost near the ground. So that kind of fellow comes here as a chief guest. If I'm going to talk about the book, I'm going to fall flat. So I will not launch into. I've read the book, of course. I must tell a story that some author asked me to bring a personality, and he was such a tall, towering Bollywood personality. I helped him to come there and unveil that book. It happened in Thought Chambers, and that person said, "Oh, this guy has written a fantastic book." And unfortunately, I have no time to read. But now that this book is released, I'm sure I'll get all the US visas whenever I ask, because he's working in the US consulate. then he said, now that the book has been unveiled, you can all read and find out what is there written in that. So that I was amazing. Since I organized that event, I helped in organizing that author, that event. I put it up together and helped him. Now I know what dialogue to deliver. As soon as the book is unveiled, this is how one should speak. But unfortunately, I have read the book, and I had the time to read the book, nothing better to do. And I have read Corporate Chanakya, and I have read both the books. And of course, Chanakya in different forms I have read all my life. They say in management that there is one management guru is one who can't run his own company, but he teaches the others how to make 300% profit. Yes, that's what people are doing. But after all that acquiring the knowledge, I could only say that what has been done here is absolutely a beautiful simplification of Chanakya. I have read Chanakya in Tamil maybe when I was young, later in English, or even if you put a bullet in my brain, I can't read Sanskrit. Not in this life. Next time maybe I'll try. But I did read all these things, but they were not. I couldn't understand. I couldn't make head and tail of that. For example, if you ask me to call his daughter by her name, no, I can't. I'll call her baby. I don't know what is that name he has given. So that kind of a difficult thing, he has made it into so simple and so beautiful. That is how people like me who can't read a book have read a book, and I've come here to launch it and speak about it, recommend. And Mr. Sharma just now mentioned that the best books which shaped up my career, once in Mumbai Time, one full page article had come. He was telling me some of those titles were printed by them, Jacob. I would definitely, if someone asks me again, I will add all these books in the top of the list where those books which have shaped up my life, because these are the ones which have really guided and helped you in shaping up whatever strategies one has done. And in the police, you have to do a lot of strategies because you don't have resources. The government says, in a colloquial way, in a friendly way, they say, one policeman went and asked the Sultan a rise in the salary. He was given 1/2 guinea was the salary, or maybe 1/4 guinea was the salary a month. So the man went and asked a raise. Then the Sultan told him, तुमको वर्दी किस लिए दिया हुआ है? ये पगार लेने के लिए दिया हुआ क्या? So that is the kind of resources the policemen get. So we have invented our own resources. Without resources, how to run a system and how to make it a success, how to give you a guarantee of peace and prosperity. Peace first, then prosperity follows. So I could say wherever I have worked, there was never a bomb blast. Wherever I have worked, there was never a major incident, peace prevailed there. Somebody can say luck. If you say luck, then maybe you should read this book, and I would take the liberty. I think you should have heard Tom Alter instead of me. Next time I suggest you play Tom Alter, not Shivanandan. But when I read this book, I thought I will read this page. Page 38. This is about advice to entrepreneurs, and the book is leadership. And there he says there is no need for any luck or anything like that. There is no financial leap in the business just around the corner. You have to work hard and all that. So there, my pet and favorite line, which helped me in the police comes. That is when we turn to fortune tellers, astrologers, and palm readers. You start to consult the zodiac, the sun, the star signs. But remember, your constant efforts are the only way out. Do not consult the stars. What will those innocent looking balls of burning gas, which appear as glowing points in the night sky do? Wealth alone is the star of wealth. You have already put in a lot of efforts, time and money into the idea you truly believe in. Just continue doing this. This is just a paragraph. This is what I used to speak about all the time. Whoever heard me in Mumbai. I used to say people can't go to astrologers and others because even people without palms, they have made their lives very successful. Zig Ziglar, if you have heard Zig Ziglar, is a man without arms. There are others. Recently, I got a book, a whole lot of book written by a person who doesn't have both the limbs. Both the base below. He is not he is born like that. He's made a tremendous success. He's a management guru. And so he makes an omelette, and then he combs and has a bath and then drives the car. All sorts of things they do. Now they have also made, if they are successful, definitely we don't have to go to those astrologers. I used to always say these lines are given only to have a grip the gun to fire properly, right? So that when you hit the target, it hits the person. Otherwise, without those the miniatures they call, you can't fire and you can't kill a person. You can't do an encounter. Yeah, talking about encounter, our own encounter was an interesting encounter. It was really it happened in the Velinkar Institute of Management. That is where I saw an author of a young age. Normally authors are all very sagely figures, very interesting. I criticized him for not being looking like a Thiruvalluvar. Thiruvalluvar is a 2,000-year-old person, and he has written a book 2,000 years before, as good as Chanakya. So that apart, I'm not going to sell that book here. I'm going to sell corporate Chanakya. I thought this author who has written a fantastic book is given the juice of corporate Chanakya in a very tasteful way. Would look like the Thiruvalluvar of my favorite author, of 2,000-year-old fame. Will have a blowing beard and will look very old enough to give out that kind of sagely advice. But here is a man who's 35, 36 years. Old and a PhD and a professor in the Mumbai University, and talks of Sanskrit and Chanakya. I said, this encounter is worth remembering. All other encounters can be really forgotten, but this encounter is worth really remembering. That is how we have become friends. And as he said, writing is very difficult. Doing blah blah like I'm doing, you can do very well. I've been doing it all my life very well. But the point is to put the pen and the paper together and write 2 sentences and not be criticized later by somebody. Today in the Facebook and Twitter and all that, you write 2 lines, you get bachawed by them. So if that is the kind of a thing, here it takes really efforts, a long 20 years of study and 20 years of practice and 20 years of learning and understanding the subject. Again, I must tell you a secret, understanding the subject deeper, that I tried to be a professor. My people said as a small boy, I don't know what Radha was produced to be. I was produced to be a professor. They said Shiva will become a professor. I became one. My God, what happened? So I was trying to teach economics to those boys who are very not interested in listening to economics at all. They were interested in listening all other things. 3 years I tried and failed. So they made me a successful police officer. They threw chalk pieces, at the right place. So that is how a police officer was born. So now what does it prove? That neither I can think, nor I can write, nor I can speak. Now I have become a successful police officer. So that is how I have been run into this. So here is a person who has been admiring, who has been writing things with such clarity and such a readable way. He says 175 chapters, nothing but a small capsule-like thing. All that you have to do is to just pop and then pour little water, and you get complete wisdom, knowledge in one small packet. Such it. So that is the kind of thing he has done. I have really liked the other author I mentioned to Mr. Sharma, Swami Sukubodhananda. Again, they publish all his books, collection of books, millions of books they have sold. Same format, small chapters and small morals and small ideals. Okay, the book. He has told about the book. You are going to read about the book. I would only say I have read the corporate Chanakya as well as these two books, and since I have read, I can say that it doesn't speak about what Chanakya said alone. It starts with the 21st century incident or a 21st century matter, and then they go back and put Chanakya right in between, and they take home is also there. Points are brought in as very clearly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So easy to read, so easy to digest. All these chapters which they have given, they have all been practiced by all the successful leaders. So if we take these chapters alone, they are so attractive. Definitely we can. I'm not going to read out all that. So qualities of a leader: total alertness. I can recite the chapter by heart. And advice to entrepreneur: multiple tasking, open door policy, ethics in business. Start now and do it later. No, that is not there. I only have knowledge for a leader. Decision making, the spiritual side, an eye for detail, and being energetic. All that. If you read the chapters, you know what you are in for it. You know, if you are going to really read it and understand, definitely everything about Bill Gates or what is his success, or everything about Warren Buffett or about his success, or about our own Narayana Murthy or anybody else, has been absolutely given crystal clearly. So, as a person, as a chief guest who was supposed to open the book and show a smile, a good smile, and keep quiet. You know, I have done all those things. I have spoken more than that. So I am sure I will say the last line is that this is a highly readable book. It is a highly readable book, not only one book, but I can show the other book also. These are highly readable books. I have read them. Definitely, if I get a chance, if some Patrakar asks me what is your strategies, I would definitely say corporate Chanakya has shaped me in one way or the other. Maybe these books were not there at that time when I was evolving, but there is one another interesting book. Please don't think I am deviating from your subject. There are 48 laws per power. I am sure many of you would. Richard Green is author. So fantastic, deviating kind of Machiavellian kind of intelligent ideas it gives. The normal, not the normal one. Be moral, be nice, pay your taxes, and be humble. All that is not that. It's the opposite of that. So that is what has shaped us, and now we have evolved. But I am sure corporate Chanakya would bring the morality in the minds of the leaders. It will awaken the morality in the minds of the leaders, and those young people who want to read, write, speak, practice, and become entrepreneurs. Then here is the key. Here is the golden key. Not only read, but do practice. Do practice that. Unless you read and practice, definitely you can't become a Narayana Murthy, you can't become a Warren Buffett, you can't become a Bill Gates. So with it, I think I have spoken already quite a lot. And before someone says shut up, I will say thank you very much for calling me here. I'm sure, he asked me to be in that movie also. Someone said, why don't you act in a movie? You know, I don't know, they definitely pulled my legs. I also fell for it. So in that corporate Chanakya movie, it's a fantastic movie. And I have shown it to a few people who used to listen to me. I went to IIMB and then GIM Goa Institute of Management and all that. Wherever I have shown, there is tremendous response to that movie. Not that I am there in that. There are better people like that and Mrs. Vinita Bali and various Sandeep Bakshi and all. I purchased 300 books of Sandeep Bakshi. Professional is the name of the book. I purchased 300 and gave it to all my Subrata police and Subrata Bakshi. I bought 300 of them. The name is The Professional. So 300 copies I bought and gave it to all the Subrata police. So I hope they read become professionals. But that is how it is. If I get a chance, definitely in a conference or so, instead of talking about that and all, then definitely I will distribute this book so that it will be very, very valuable companion for people while traveling. When you are traveling by air, you can definitely open any chapter, read, and go back to some other chapter and read. And you can, you need not worry about the continuity part of it, because everything is a gem by itself. Definitely, it will be very, very helpful. I, as a person who got a chance to unveil it in front of a select audience, would highly recommend reading this book, buying this book and reading this book. So with that, I thank Radha and thank Mr. Sharma for having given me this opportunity to be here. And I love to build libraries. Wherever I went, I left huge libraries. I would love to be amongst books. So there's a chance to be with the author and the books, and in an environment like this, and with avid book readers like this, there can't be a better evening than this. This encounter with you is also very, very valuable. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, moving on now, we'd throw the floor open to the audience. If anyone in the audience has questions to any of our panelists, they could address them forward right now. Anyone in the audience with questions? Yes, sir.
First of all, thanks Radha and Mr. Shivananda. It's been one of the most humorous sessions I've attended. In fact, I'm also author of a book which is released on 26th April. Very lucky, to be amongst you guys. And I'm lucky to have JCO as my distributor, so it's a coincidence. So I've been talking to JCO, I've been talking to the trade in general, and this whole thing about people not having enough time to read, and with so much stuff on the internet, the people's reading habit is dwindling, and overall sales are not good overall book sales. So what do you think really made a difference in your case? Because in India 5,000 is considered a bestseller, and you've done like 20 times over. So just to get a further understanding of what you really think click with the readers and the audience.
I'll be of course addressing to you, but remember, anybody who is going to be an author himself, take this as a tip, because many people ask me tips on successful writing. Let me tell you. Let me tell you this very frankly, to make a book successful, there is only one reason it becomes successful. Hard work, 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 and continuous hard work and marketing. See, I'll tell you, I'm a person who has been a marketing person. I've been working as a marketing guy. And sir marketed the book already very well. But when I first thought about this book and we were shaping up, I asked the JCO team and saying that, I want to make it a bestseller. And like, what do you actually quantify as a bestseller? I can just print a book and say, "Chhapa laga ke bestseller hai." As you know, 2 books bana diya aur author ban gaye. So statistically, what does it mean by being a bestseller? And please understand, when JCO says the definition of a bestseller, it is not just a loose idea, because they've been there in the industry for over 60 years. 3 generations, matured industry, they've seen all the ups and downs, 9 offices across India. So I asked them what is the figure, and they said 10,000. And I was very upset. 10,000! And we talk about America, and they talk about million books sold, and 3 million books sold. Then I realized there is a big flaw in the system. It is not about 10,000 or 1 million, it's actually a culture, isn't it? So in America or any other country, reading is a culture. We're not having a reading culture. But then I said, no, I want to sell 1 million copies. So I discussed with them, what's 1 million equivalent to in India? It's 10 lakh copies. We said, okay, so 10 lakh copies, what are the methods? English? Okay, but there is a huge lot in India which doesn't read in English. So can we bring out 10 languages? Fine, so this is a regional language, and Hindi is spoken in 7 states in the north, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand and all this put together. The Hindi one is recently launched. Marathi, Gujarati, Marathi was launched by the Education Minister. Tamil we are launching now with the Mayor of Tamil Nadu. Telugu is happening, Malayalam is yet to come. So that's the number. So by selling 1 lakh copy was not enough, there is still more. So for me, the target, I always tell Sharma ji or Akash that I need to reach at least minimum 1 million copy as a management book, not a fiction book. But since you asked this question, let me tell you the process. The process is never about me or the publisher. It is always you and the publisher. So please understand, if you want to bring out a beautiful product, it has to be synergy. And we meet regularly, we are in touch with the publisher on a daily basis. And when I say daily basis, it's actually daily basis. If I sold in some of my seminars 10 copy, I would send an SMS to Akash, Sharma ji and Ashwin bhai on a daily way. We speak at least once in a week, and we meet minimum once in a month. For the last 2 years, this has been our schedule. You can check with them, and every time Akash would give me an idea, or Sharma ji would give me an idea, I would implement it. If I was given an idea, I would implement it. They were given a task, they will implement it. Believe me, it's been hard work. I have traveled to every single office of JCO. Please note this. I have spoken to every single salesman of JCO. You have the JCO salesman over here. I know every person in JCO across 9 offices, spoken, talked, and let me tell you, when you can ignite the passion on the other side, it works. So, coming back, so there are 2 things that happens to make a book successful. Number 1, a good product. But you know what happened? A good product necessarily does not sell well. An average product with hard work definitely sells well. I know many good authors with extremely fantastic literature probably could not work. But hard work is important. And you know what is hard work? Connect with human beings. Ranjit, I remember when he told me that I went to Gujarat for doing the book launch in Gujarati, and there was this whole debate about saying that, do you really want to go there and do a second launch? I said, no. It is not about how many people come in the book. Sometimes you say, okay, this is a good number for a book launch. Let me tell you this. People standing in a bookstore is a book number, but there are places when we have gone, there are only 4 people. There were only 4 people, and we have still done the program in places like Surat, when people say, okay, theek hai yaar, I don't like this. I don't care about book reading because Surat mein sabse important thing is khana on a Sunday. You book reading sab chodo. One bookshop alone, but with that 4 people, you speak with the same passion, it ignites. And then you have to be on the virtual mode also. So you can't just say, I did 10 programs, 14 launches. Sanjeev is there, he writes about books. There are at least, if I'm not mistaken, Mala, if you were to compare, there are at least 50 media interviews, radio shows, television. So you have to be on the run. So the old age where write a book and relax and say, talk to the publisher, kitna book becha aur mera airport pe book kyun nahi hai? They'll also all see the books and then they'll blame the author, the publisher and say, mera book nahi hai. If I go to the airport and don't see a book, I don't see it as a blame game, immediately I'll call up or send an SMS and saying that the book is not there. So let's work it together. And then we would go to the Crosswords or this particular bookshop or Media Mart and say, let's work it out. So every time you're out of stock, you have to put your effort to make it come in stock. So let me tell you, good product is important, but hard work is very, very important. So it's you and me, 1 plus 1 is greater than 2. Right, Ashwin bhai? And I'm very happy after so many years, Ashwin bhai on a public platform, he's the best author that we found. Thank you, sir. Okay. Next question to sir.
Anybody else with questions in the audience? Please feel free. Yes, sir.
Can you, Shivanandan sir, please tell us your most interesting encounter in Mumbai?
My interesting encounter is meeting Dr. Radha. I tell you that. Then I don't think any other encounter is as interesting as that. There may be many other encounters, of course, with a lot of people, common people, and so many, meeting millions of people, so many things. Once I remember as Joint Commissioner of Police, there was a lady who came inside the room. It was an open door policy. There was no guard or anybody checking, but of course the gate and all would check and filter people and then send. Then I told her, you please take the seat and sit down. So she said, no, I will not. Then I said, if you don't sit down, I'm not going to listen to you. She says, no, I will not sit. So I told her, no, unless you sit, we are not going to listen. So then she said, no, I can't sit because I am in the profession of selling my body in Hindi. So I said, so what, The point is, you have come inside. Policemen normally would have gone into all details. Kyun milna chahte hain, kyun hai, kya problem hai, application laya, kya and all that. After all these things, you have come inside. Having come inside, unless you sit whoever you are, unless you sit and then tell me your problem, I'm not going to listen. So then she sat on the edge of the chair, and then I told her to be comfortable, and then so she told me all about a constable. That story is not worth telling here because it's against the police department. So all about her encounter with the constable, actually. That is my encounter with that lady. The point is, this kind of an encounter definitely helps us in understanding the society. So in the same way, when I go to Dharavi and I go to all those Mankur and all that, they for that Eid kind of thing, they give that kind of fruits and all that, and they eagerly see whether you eat that or not. And then they listen and they pick up things whether you are really connecting with them or it's only a show shop, that you go there and they click pictures and smile and come back or not. So these kind of encounters and these kind of things definitely have made us to look at the humanity in a very, very different angle. Just because you have become something, you are cut off from them and then start we can see behind every issue, a piece of paper, there is a case, there is a human problem. Whether it's a divorce case or it's a dacoity case or it's something else. I tell you, the last 1 week it happened, how people are not here. And not that I was the last one who was empathetic about it. There are many thousands of others. I'm not criticizing the system, but I tell you how things have become difficult. An old lady whose husband is a doctor, he's 80-year-old, he's 76-year-old. He goes to for a walk in the evening with the husband. As usual, as it is happening now, two motorcycle bound chaps come and snatch her chain and go. She goes to a police station and then they try to, 2 hours, she was treated so well that she was persuaded not to file a case kind of thing. Then at last someone rang up and said, then I rang up the police station and talked to them. No, we are registering the case. We are in the process of doing it, sir. We are treating it so well and all. I said, chalo, karo. The next 3 days, the same husband who was there, 80-year-old surgeon, goes for a morning walk along with another person. He goes right into the manhole. He just disappears into the manhole. Imagine now, kind of a scenario. Imagine he goes there and suddenly somebody who had gone there with them, they raised like a mahi of yesterday. So this doctor with a broken rib has been taken off the manhole. All happened in the last 5-6 days. So our encounters with people should always bring out such a kind of a feeling that behind the paper there is somebody who is suffering. So behind the burnt files of Mantralaya, there are so many people's life is also burnt along with that. If that kind of a thing is there, I think every encounter with that kind of people is worth remembering. All other encounters are all just that kind of. It's all nothing to talk about. But seeing human suffering and you being in a place where you can help, one phone call, just lift the phone, talk to the concerned police station, say that this person has come, attend to this, and report complaints. If you don't say that, so don't say that, they don't report complaints also to you. What happens to that person is a mystery. So that if you do, definitely it is worth it. As an ex-bureaucrat, I always believe, as an ex-government servant, I feel that unless we empathize with the people sitting in front of us, I don't think we'll be doing justice to the salary, justice to all the accolades and respect and all other things we demand is definitely not done. So I will remember many encounters like that, many Naxalites in the Naxal areas. They reformed once. During my time, there was no reward system for those Naxalites who surrendered. But when I returned from there as joint CP crime to face this organized crime syndicate, there was not a single Maharashtrian left in the Naxalite movement. Without a reward scheme, we made them to surrender. A man called Shivaji Tumreddy in Bandara did surrender with an AK-47. His wife surrendered with a 12-bore gun. So they also had quite a lot of amount of cash. So that kind of a persuasion, that kind of a tactics is also a way of encounter. So, but later on it caught fire and it has gone up and it is becoming a very huge problem. It's a different matter. But the point is, when you apply your mind and then empathize with the people, definitely you can win the hearts of the people. Like that we can have so many encounters. Maybe I should write one more book on encounters. People will know Shivanandan means some other encounter, but I can write about this encounters. Definitely it's a good thought for writing one more book.
Well, anybody else in the audience with questions? Yes, sir.
My question is to both Mr. Pillai, Dr. Pillai and Mr. Shivanandan. So how important is management for a good leader? And how important is leadership for a good manager?
How important is management for a leader and how important is leadership for...
And can they exist in isolation?
Yeah, okay. They are interconnected. But at the same time, we always say that there is one step above the other. So you start as a manager, but you have to end as a leader. And if you are a leader, you are already a good manager. So how is it? So we always say that, look at it this way. I'm talking it more from an academic angle. You know, your typical MBA or anybody in engineering, you learn the skills and then you join a corporate company. But then you start your career with an assistant manager, vice president. But the right person, according to me, who has learned management would actually retire as a CEO or a chairman or whatever. Because he doesn't retire by just the theoretical knowledge, but he goes and actually takes leadership. And what is leadership according to me? Leadership according to me is actually giving a new dimension to that organization. Probably an organization started as something when you joined, but you ended up by giving it a new dimension and new phase altogether. So two things I like to tell, and then we'll take Sir's angle. What is management? Management, if you look at all the books around, it talks about productivity, efficiency, etc. So one of my favorite quotes, which Stephen Covey talks about, is management is climbing the ladder fast. And leadership is asking whether the ladder is on the right wall. So you reach there, oh, I have produced 10,000 cars. But finally, if the cars don't sell. So for me, Keshav Mahindra and then Anand Mahindra coming in. It was typical an automobile company, but then he says, okay, there is a ladder, but can we create a new ladder altogether? So they go and start an IT company. They go and start so many other projects. They get into finance, Mahindra Intertrade, Mahindra Finance. Not many people know about these companies. They are the backbone of Mahindras. They go and even buy out Satyam, which was a very, very difficult situation at that particular time. They bring out, even within the automobile industry, something which never existed in India. An XUV 500 has broken all records. You don't get a booking for next 6 months, 1 year, etc. So what you start as a manager probably should end as a leadership. But also, as you said, on the other side, a leader cannot sit over there. He requires managers to run the show. So leadership and management are interconnected. Start as a manager, end as a leader. But if you are a leader, make sure you are having other managers along with you to run the show.
The great author has already given you his answer. Now I can only make much worse out of the whole thing. I would only say that there are lots of managers, but there are only few leaders. Leaders lead and managers only manage. So managers are only struggling to manage what is given to them. But leaders become transformational leaders. You know, there are two types of leaders. One is transactional leader and one is a transformational leader. The Mahatma Gandhi is a transformational leader, or even for that matter, a Hitler is a transformational leader. Hitler started as a corporal in the German army, and where he reached and what the height he reached. That way, you can give so many examples for transformational leader. Whatever they have seen, if they have transformed, then he is a transformational leader. What a manager does, manager is only manages. So manager, I would only say, is a struggler, 1 minute manager. So in 1 minute he has learned the management and then he struggles, whereas a leader transforms the whole tribe, transforms the whole company. So that way I would say Nirma as an example, Nirma product as an example. Or for that matter, there is another person, Karzanbhai or somebody, who has selected only good groundnuts and packed it in that kind of a Tetra Pak or whatever it is, and they sent to America and made millions and billions of rupees out of that. So these are small type of people. The other day, I had released a book in Thane as police commissioner. Other day means 5-6 years before. So I'm becoming old. There were 20 Maharashtrian entrepreneurs who had started a business and they have multiplied it to a few crores. So small time businesses they had begun, maybe an investment of 100, 200, 1,000 or 2,000, 5,000 rupees. But they have turned it into turnover of crores. So there are 20 of them. They were sitting behind. A lady who had worked in the State Bank of India had left the job and she became an author. And she wrote a book in Marathi. So I had to read and go and read and speak in Marathi. Imagine, no? I did that. So I was only non-Maharashtrian there, and there were 900 of them in Gadkari Rangayat and Hall. So I did justice. Nobody threw a stone at me. So that is the kind of a leader we expect. So managers are there, but leaders are much above that. You can't compare a manager and a leader. I told you, transformational leaders are the ultimate. You know, Mahatma Gandhi is an example, or even Hitler in a negative way. But if you take it in a positive way, you know, where was he and where he is. So one speech by an Alexander can turn an army which was going back to become a victorious thing. Or for that matter, see the movie The 300. You know, where one speech, the 300 people become a human pyramid, and then, or a speech by that Al Pacino in the movie called All on a Given Sunday. One speech, you see the expression of that footballer. You've seen that movie thing, that clipping? Go to YouTube and see that. No, you don't have to see the whole movie. Go to YouTube and say Al Pacino, all given Sunday or something like that. Football.
Any given Sunday.
Huh? Any given Sunday, something like that. See the expression of that footballer and the way he speaks. You know, it is just one scratch that we improve, and see what happens there. You know. So they go and play great football. That is the leadership, and that is what is all the difference. A manager would even only would only manage. If he can't manage, he will come and report to you that I am not able to manage. So the leader is one who leads from the front. So minus the resources, minus the wherewithal, and minus all the environment, minus the support, minus everything. When everything going wrong, then somebody who stands like a rock and faces the weather and makes it a huge success is a leader. That way, there are many, many leaders amongst us. There are auto rickshaw drivers who are there in an accident spot. He says, hatav, 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 and he do this, do this, do this. He becomes a leader, you know. So he leads. Or that for that matter, an uneducated constable becomes a situational leader where an incident takes place. So you can see lots of leaders amongst us. But manager is one who will manage. When everything is all right, he might take up his phone and give a call and say, accident ho gaya, somebody should take this guy to the hospital. You know, by the time the man manages, the man is dead there, out of bleeding. So that is the manager and the leader. A leader is the one who leads. Manager is one who manages. I think all of us should aspire to become leaders. Not leaders, transformational leaders. Not transactional leaders, but we should become transformational. Whatever you see, touch, you know, Midas touch. That's the kind of thing. Whatever you touch becomes gold. Then you have become a leader. Thank you.
Actually, not a question for suggestion for both Radha and Sharma ji. Probably you could have a sequel to this book titled Corporate Chanakya on Corruption. I think you'll go.
Corporate Chanakya on Corruption. There is a book recently published by, I think Mr. M.E. Kamath and one more person, a lady, author. They have written on about Lokpal and corruption and all that. Corporate Chanakya has forgotten in that. Somehow they didn't bring the corporate Chanakya. That maybe you can. But I would only say, apart from the book, you can write a book and sell 1 lakh. I'm not sure about that. But only about that, instead of writing books, we must demand good governance from the government. We don't need a Lokpal, or we don't need an agitation, we don't need a book on corporate Chanakya and corruption. What we need is good governance. I hope it's a good chance for me to say one line. What we are demanding is not leaders or all those candlelight people and morchas, agitation. We should demand good governance. In the bureaucratic measurement, we are 9.75 out of 1 to 10. The worst level bureaucrats are given by some organization is 9.75. We are in that. In the Transparency International Corruption Index, we are almost 5 countries below in the worst corrupt countries. So I would only say that instead of doing all other things, we should demand good governance as a matter of right. As a good governance as a matter of right. If we do that, then all corruption will go away. Delay breeds corruption. And then our people not asserting and asking for our rights definitely breeds corruption. So let us really talk about good governance and the demand of people demanding for good governance. That's it. So Lokpal and books and all that is a different thing. We are entitled for good governance. That if something is not happening, we should be able to assert our right and say, I deserve this. You know, please, you are duty bound to give us this. If that happens, yes, some small steps have been taken, RTI and various things and all that. But somehow we have invented ways of using it against the people, very same people. For example, this Transfer Act, once in 3 years only. People are repeatedly transferred. So thanks to Anna Hazare, an act in Maharashtra has come. Once in 3 years only you can by such corrupt people going there and sitting in nice places, 3 years he can't be shifted. What a bonanza it is for him. So that. We have Indian jugaad, as they call it. We have a jugaad, the way of turning anything in our favor. Very less we talk about corruption, better. But definitely I will ask him to write a book on corporate Chanakya and corruption. Not a good government, corruption. Thank you.